morning, everyone. My name is Lazar Ivanov. I come from Macedonia. It's a great pleasure to be here in Amsterdam. I'm delighted to spend this morning with you. I'll be talking mostly on the first session, and we're sharing with our fellow Estonian colleague the second session when we'll be talking about creating curriculums. Before we start with the official part of this session, Anna kindly asked me to tell you this announcement that you need to clean up. Highly related to debate. You need to clean up after you go to breakfast, lunch, or dinner. All right. So take your stuff after you're done. All right. Fair enough. All right. So this is the coaches track for this couple of days. How many days are you guys here? 3-4 days, right? All right. So for the duration of this event, this would be the coaches lab or the coaches track. Hello. No problem. Right, and the first session is I'll be talking about coaching British parliamentary debate format, and we'll be focusing on two issues, basically BP clubs and also BP lectures. We'll talk about the form, how can a BP club be created, and then we'll talk about the context, what can we teach within a BP club, right? Now, before we start with the lecture, I said I come from Macedonia. I come from the Macedonian Debate Society. So can you tell me, do you know any huge successes of the Macedonian Debate Society in terms of British parliamentary debate? Anyone? Have you ever heard of the Macedonian Debate Society? Let me rephrase that. No? No one? All right, so you can see that I'm a very unfortunate choice to talk to you about how to create successful British parliamentary clubs. So I'll start out with a brief history of the situation in Macedonia. Technically, we're a non-governmental organization. We're an NGO that's a sort of spin-off. Cut this off the camera, of the video material. And technically, we started doing debate, promoting debate, from 1999. But unfortunately, in terms of university debate, we never got to implement the BP format within the universities. The situation in Macedonia is very funny. We have an NGO, we recruit from the university, but we held the lectures in our own NGO. And this was until 1 or 2 years ago, but currently we're working on partnership with the university. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes I will give you a slightly different perspective of how a BP club is run, but even outside the university campus. We'll also talk within the university, all right? Will that work? And I'll be focusing mostly, when I thought about what to talk about on today's lecture, I started thinking, and I came to the realization that when we talk about BP debate, there are several pillars that we can address, right? The first one is the students, right? In order to have a BP club, you need a handful of students that are interested in debate, right? You need to find those 5 people in all our countries that actually like debate and will engage in discussions. Also, you need trainers who can give these lectures, who can participate in terms of running these clubs. You also need a coordinator, etc. So you need logistics and staff. You need universities that are willing to introduce British parliamentary or debate clubs within your countries. And you also need to go to a whole bunch of tournaments, and we'll discuss about that as well. And also to host tournaments, all right? So these are kind of the 4 pillars that I wanted to talk with you today, this morning, all right? Now, before I continue, I have several things that I would like to say before I start. The first one is that I don't want to be the only one who will be talking for this entire 1 hour or 30 minutes. That's because of 2 reasons mainly. First of all, I'm really interested in your input, and this is in all honesty. I don't think that I know all this stuff, or that I can give you suggestions that will be applicable for your own countries. So I would love for us to have a discussion in order to share opinions, because I can bet that half of you are more experienced in terms of coaches or how to form BP clubs than I am. And secondly, if I'm speaking about something that you already know, or you just don't care, please raise your hand and tell me, Lazar, this is way too boring, or this is not applicable for our country, and then I can skip that, or we can change the pace of the discussion, all right? Good. Now, let's start off with the segment about the students, right? Now, in order to have a BP club, the first thing we need are students. So how do we start with the process of forming a BP club? How do we start with that? Well, the first logical step is to go and recruit people to join your BP club, right? To join your debate club. Now, as you saw at the beginning of this session, we didn't do those boring introductions. Hello, my name is Lazar, I come from Macedonia, 10 years in the debate society, right? So instead of that, this is my suggestion. I can see you are all tired and, hangover from last night. So this is my suggestion. We split in groups in your countries, right? So the Macedonian group works together, the Romanians work together, Estonians work together. And you need to tell us 2 stories. The first one is, which model is the best recruitation you made so far? All right? What did you use? How did you do it? Etc. And the second one would be, if you had all the money and resources in the world, how would your recruitation look like? All right? So you have around 5 to 10 minutes, and while you do that, you will introduce yourselves to me, and then we can get this discussion going. All right? So please feel free, good morning, feel free to move around the room, make yourself at home. So in your national groups, all right? These 2 things. Are there any Dutch people? All right. All right. Are you in this debate in Europe? Yeah. I know, that's true. Yes. Can you take the long on this one? Or you can pair up with yes. Can the 2 share ideas?
Allora ce l'hai bene, se va
A ja si ještě vydrý. Jasno.
All right. you guys done? Estonia? Yes. All right, excellent. No problem. So can we start with the Estonian delegation?
Okay.
All right. If anyone wants to present, that would be great. I'm not sure all the countries that participate in the debate on your project. So it's Estonia, right?
Yep.
Romania, Slovakia, good. Macedonia, the trio, fantastic here. We have Africa, UK, and the Netherlands, right? Kenya in specific. And who else? Don't we have any other country? No, that's it. Excellent. You're very involved in this project. That's good to hear. So let's start with Estonia.
Okay. What do you want to hear? Do you want to hear if we have all the money in the world, or
Both of them. I want to hear both of them. Very briefly. Huh?
Okay, very briefly.
Yes.
The way we do it today, we don't have a very good system how to get 50 new people. What works best for us is a personal approach. You invite a friend or a friend. Basically, you invite a friend, or you have a very good charismatic leader that can bring people. But
Margot.
yeah, Margot.
Precisely.
But you know, if you lose that one person or two people that we have, it falls apart. So we're really like depending on those individuals. We don't have a good system.
All right.
If we had all the money in the world,
But before you continue, how many people do you gather using this system?
how many people do we gather using this system? I'd say we have gathered, by this time we have about 800 people. How much we gather per year, I can't say, but clearly, maybe, I don't know.
This is 800 people in the entire history of
No.
the Estonian Debate Society, or this year?
No, I'd say in any year, probably 50, 60, about 800.
You got us worried here. Debate coordinators resigning, etc. All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yes. Now let's go to scenario B.
If we have all the money in the world, some things that we already do, we try to send the beginners to their first international tournament in a way that we pay for all their expenses, because they always don't understand why I should go there. We send them, then later, the second time they already know why I need to go there. So that we already do. We would get a TV show to just like broadly get an idea in the society what is debate, especially
A reality debate show.
yeah, no, a funny reality debate show, especially for a post-communist country like us. And if nothing else really helps, helicopters.
All right. Can you explain?
We don't know what we do with them, but we get
But it's
them.
cool to have them.
It's cool to have helicopters.
I completely agree.
It could be join Estonian debating. We have helicopters.
The Estonian submarine.
Yeah.
Estonian Debate Society submarines. Good. All right. Thank you. Romania.
Okay, for the first part, what we do now, we have a project that is called Closer to Oxford, and it's a way in which we attract the students. The problem is that we don't really know what to do with them right now, because they are not very linked with the debate clubs that we have, because we are divided between regions.
And it's an online debate project, so many people just stay online but don't really come to physical events and join the community.
Yeah, so we don't really have a follow-up on that. That's the point we wish to work. Another thing would be to better connect the students in each region, or at least the people that take care of certain debate clubs, because we don't really do that right now. We just meet for tournaments. And I think that's about all.
Yeah, we also thought if we had unlimited resources, we'd probably invest in all these new people, doing some sort of boot camp that would create a community, a sense of community among them, and then, yeah, send them to competitions and pay for that, pay for tournaments. So,
One question for both debate societies: Are your clubs in the university? So do you go in technical? Do you teach there, or do you have someone like? Does the debate society teach in the universities, and in terms of university clubs, or how do you do it, or is it a separate NGO?
It's usually under a university.
All right.
for us, it's mostly separate. Right? I mean, I know in Bucharest there are some things in the universities, right?
Yeah, so it's outdoor people teaching, but I mean, they might be located in the university, as in the university gives a classroom, but we don't have teachers involved. That's that.
Yeah, that was my question. Are teachers involved in the
Not much.
Okay.
It's hard to grasp them.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Slovakia.
So there are two kinds of events or approaches. One is based on the approaching the problem via mass devices, I would say. Our association organizes exhibition debates. We also run putting out the posters at the university so we can conscript new souls. And okay. So then also we use personal contact between the students, social networking and those, that's it, chit chats. So this is quite efficient, and also organizing public debates. On the other hand, there are people who are already motivated, so we're trying to take them in by organizing social events and so on and so on. We have about 5 university debate clubs and about 200 members. And if we were not limited by the resources, then we were to not, struggling by solving the economic problem, then we would probably, have our own TV show or organize the public debates or somehow
On a boat.
and this would be, I think, quite engaging, and also. I think it is quite big work statement, so move forward.
This is interesting and very relatable because I come from the Macedonian Debate Society, so we kind of use very similar methods to this. We also focus on posters and online campaigning. Unlike what I find really interesting, the Estonian approach. So can some of the Macedonians give us?
Yeah, I'll have to probably. The first year, how we trying to recruit students from the whole university, and we are doing a lot about recruitment. We put posters on the faculties. We did public debates, presentation during classes, what might be exhausting to the faculty administration to be agreed. I don't know, online promotion. Probably that's it what we're doing. Are we saying something?
Yeah, we established like.
Before you do that, can I just put this into context? We had VP in Macedonia for about 5-7 years. The problem was that none of the universities wanted to cooperate with us. So what we did was even they wouldn't allow us to go during classes to make the recruitment of students. So what we did was using the Estonian method. We basically invited friends and other people to join us. And because we have a very strong high school debate program, some of the people that were involved in the high school debate program just continued doing VP. But we never had it in a structured way that we have now, right?
Yeah, we actually established a good relation with some of the assistants that are teaching at the university, so they are like doing logistics for us for the debate program to establish. It's much easier when you're trying to communicate with the university if you have someone from the state.
Speaking about post-communist countries,
Yeah.
This is another example. And what would you do if you had all the money in the world for money service? Just kidding. It can be another source. Online, streaming? No.
So, we discussed that it's really important to have money for international tournaments and participation for beginners and about beginners, so we can improve the competitiveness. Try to get awarded speaker in your society so everyone can understand that it is nice to be part of it. And what we discussed, it's really important to have socials, so if any fun our project allows alcohol, probably it's like free juice.
Balkan Debate Society. Yeah. Socials. Spend all the money on socials. But this is a question I wanted to ask, just a second, Bianca. Do your universities cover the cost when you participate on national or regional or international tournaments? Depends.
No.
They don't? Partially? Estonia?
You have to write a project to the university, you can get 100%.
Oh, okay. All right.
But it's not guaranteed.
Right. But you apply for money to the university, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
And if you apply, you usually get a fairly substantial amount.
All right. Good. Bianca, you had a
Yeah, I
question?
wanted to ask if any of us is thinking or considering paying the debate club coordinators and trainers. I mean, to have someone full time.
For fun? Perhaps on this one.
Yeah. We're doing it as a part of the project, and since we don't have any funds for international travels, we think that it's really okay because it's the only way how we can collect money and go on international tournament, because the university does not support our project and no one does, and the international project that we run don't allow us to get funds for international travels for UDC or world schools. So probably the only way how we can accumulate funds.
I plan to talk about that a bit more in the next slide.
No, my question, sorry, I think I misunderstood. My question was if you guys are doing it or you're considering hiring someone full time.
We have full-time employees. I'm not sure if it's full-time or not.
No, it's not full-time.
But we have people that are in the position of a debate coordinator, and we also have assistants on the two sub-programs, like high school and university debate.
In that way.
Yes. But it's related to projects. Basically, if the project is 1 year, then that's it technically. And then they find an alternative source of.
And did you find it works better than when they're not paid? I mean, we assume it works better, but I'm not sure it does.
I'm not quite sure. I think it has ups and downs on both methods. I think they're more incentivized to work when they get paid, but also they become our organization is slightly different. We're a big organization that has 3 programs, and debate is a sub-program of what we call an informal education program, right? So you do all this other stuff when you get paid because you're part of the staff team, right? So it has its ups and downs. So when you do it on as a volunteer, basically the incentive might not be there, but at least if you're really willing to do it, you can spend some time on it, and that should be your main focus.
I'd like to assure that you are talking that you are paying the program coordinator as university debate program, or are you paying the every single coach which is coaching at university?
No, we don't pay coaches.
So you are paying only one or two persons who are already the program coordinators.
That's right. Yes, that's how we've done it for high school debaters, and that's how we are starting. It might be the wrong approach. I'm not sure, and I have nothing to do with that. But I think that's the approach we have so far. All right.
It's based on the projects.
It's based on projects.
Yeah. So if you have project, then maybe the coordinators and the coaches might get paid, but if you don't have project, then it's based on what they
Even when coaches do get paid, we usually submit proposals that is very, very symbolic amounts of money.
What will happen if the money will run out?
Then you just continue doing it. We have a poll around 20, 30 coaches and trainers in terms of high school debate program, and a lesser number, around 10 to 15 in British parliamentary. So we technically teach every week, but that's pro bono free, just because we want to. And when we have a project, we get some money, but basically we reinvest it into the society. We'll talk about that later.
I just want
money. The first discussion coaches talk about money.
About our education hours that we signed a memorandum for cooperation with other faculties. And we're just getting the idea that they have BP club in their faculty, so it's kind of good for them to
That's right.
have competitiveness with other faculties.
Cool. And yes, we have this group of 3 here that are not a part of the debate society. We have a representative of IDEA UK, we have a high school teacher from the Netherlands, and we have this fine gentleman who is willing to open, I believe, a BP club in this country. We're considering all that. Right?
I think in my case I probably can do that very how, to a certain extent, how it works in the UK. I have never been part of the debate club in the UK, but I know that all university societies running, but it's pretty much the same way, because we run through the student unions. Every university has a student union that is entirely student-run, student-led, and all societies are basically entirely up to the students. It's completely voluntary. There may be some possibility of getting money from the union, and some possibly from the university. Rooms are provided free, but it's not through classes or anything.
Right.
So it's kind of all after university.
So during the breaks or weekends, right?
Yeah, yes indeed. It's promoted through posters that tend to be all over the university. There are freshers' fairs, kind of a couple of them during the year, where every society has a big stall and people come down, talk to everyone, decide which clubs they want to go to, and otherwise by word of mouth. There are really differences because every student union is different, and Oxford in particular is very different. Which won't surprise people, and because they're actually a professional union and they bring in big public speakers and
as a part of their curriculum, right? They have like open
Yeah.
public forums where they
Yeah.
bring celebrities to talk.
But the BP part of that is kind of only a part of what they do.
Yeah.
But most university societies are much less formal than that in the UK.
Right.
But there's also freshers, IDs and Americans. And I believe there is some subsidising of travel between competitions.
Tell us more.
Sorry?
Tell us more about UK.
Yeah, I have no experience in debating at all. I'm a high school teacher and I'm here with a group of high school students.
Do you have a debate club in your high school? Or
At the high school, no, I don't think so. At my university, I'm also a criminologist. We have, but I do participate in that.
Right. Shame.
Yeah.
Would you like to share some? Sure.
I don't have any experience in it, but I would love to know something about
All right. So technically, in terms of recruitment, we all use different methods, and we all end up with a whole bunch of people, and a lot of them have different expectations and different goals in the course we're offering. It can be a semester long, it can be a year long. Some debate programs have even longer programs that they offer, etc. Now, these are some other issues that we deal with when we have a bunch of students that are interested in debating and in British parliamentary in specific. How do we motivate them to participate throughout the year in this program? What do we do with different people and different characters within the group? We're all aware that some of them just come for the socials, for example. Some of them just want to hang out. And you have this group of people that really want to debate, right? And that's their main idea, their main goal to pursue. Another thing is what types of activities, I mean, what the curriculum should be, what do we offer as debate societies through these AP clubs, what kind of activities do we offer, etc. So, in terms of all these issues, I'm sure that all the organizations do it differently, right? But in essence, these are the issues that we need to tackle when we talk about forming the BP club, right? Also, we need to talk about trainers, we need to talk about tournaments, and we will, in addition to this. Now, what I'm very curious about is how to deal with different levels or different, I don't know, goals that different students have within your group. Now, the correlation between this, I believe it's the activities you offer within the curriculum of your BP club. So I'll go directly to that, right? So in most of the curriculum, most of the activities follow this logic, right? Debates are usually a part, like the main goal to be able to debate in this format is usually the end goal of this program. And usually we have promotive debates, exhibitional debates, or whatever we want to call them, within our curriculum. Secondly, we go to different kind of tournaments, right? Whether they're local tournaments, national, regional, international tournaments, etc. And basically the core of every program are the lectures we have within the program. Now those lectures are technically about the format of the British parliamentary debate, right? Different techniques, matter, second half strategies, etc. It doesn't matter. But basically these are all debate-related lectures, right? In terms of the British parliamentary format. Now here are some other activities that might be fit also for the students that come technically just for the debate part and those students who come for the social aspect of being in a sort of a club while you're at universities. So parties are basically also, or gatherings, social gatherings, are also quite important for a BP club. But if your club is only based on parties and gatherings, you will lose the debate people, or the people that are willing to debate within that group, right? So you need to make a balance within between the debate segments, the real lectures that you'll have, let's say weekly lectures on British parliamentary, and then you need to balance that up or spice it up with all the other segments, right? So parties are also a part of, I believe in most of debate societies, we throw a lot of parties and a lot of gatherings, right? Socials. Not only for tournaments, but also to keep the program going. Am I wrong? Do you do gatherings or Bianca?
Gatherings are usually like post-tournaments. I mean, they're mixed with the tournaments, but we don't really afford, especially since we are different club sizes in different cities. We don't have like huge family reunion on Christmas. Like, it would be nice to have something where we gather just for the socials.
Right. I don't know. It probably has pros and cons, but I think it's a good thing. It creates a bond within the group, and it's a lot easier if they're friends outside this course or this program to keep them within the debate program. So I think that might be very useful. Also, another thing that we do in BP clubs, I think most of BP clubs do, is do a lot of online research about what's up there in terms of British parliamentary debate, right? And some debate societies, such as ours, don't have these famous trainers in the BP world. So what we do is watch a lot of videos. Even if you don't go to some tournaments, most of the videos are uploaded right after the tournament or during, or you can stream the. In the past few tournaments, all of them were doing streamings of the debate, so you can watch them online in real time. But also there are quite good lecturers online. So what you can do is a combination of the lectures that your trainers can provide and what is there online in terms of videos. Another thing, and this is also in the social aspect, is a movie nights, right? And this is just an example of what should be also the social event. You can do movie nights or whatever, kind of board game nights, and it depends on the group you're dealing with, and it's always different from year to year, etc. Now, in addition to all the club, right, to all the BP clubs activities that we can do, we can also do some stuff that are not directly related to the BP club or to the BP format, but related to public speaking or debate in general, right? So if your clubs can organize public speaking events, I believe that they will attract a whole different audience rather than if you do a BP promo debate on your university. So, and technically, all debaters that do BP are probably good speakers, so they can pull up easily a public speaking night or a public speaking event, etc. In addition, we already mentioned that we use public debates or promo debates or whatever you want to call them. Now, public forums is what I believe Oxford is doing in terms of inviting speakers that are easily recognized within the society as an elite that can bring a certain issue into context or experts in certain fields, right? And usually when we go to BP tournaments international, usually we know that most of the topics are in terms of politics and society, right? So if you can bring elites or experts in the field of international relations, economics, international economics, etc., I think that those lectures would be interesting for the BP club you're having and for the broader audience. And now also in terms of social media, I think that a social media plays or can play a huge role in terms of preserving the number of students that are involved in your BP clubs and also maintaining contact with them throughout the year or throughout the program you have. So also that segment is quite interesting. Now the car wash idea was an idea we had because we don't have any funding for international tournaments. So we thought of fundraising for this. So at some point we thought that most of the debaters in our organization can do a car wash, and this is the fellow men debaters in our program. But we never did it because it was a terrible idea, but no one would want to see that happening. But what I'm saying is that you can do completely out-of-the-box events in terms of fundraising or in terms of just having fun within the club. Now, the second important pillar are the trainers of every program, right? Under the assumption that we have students that are interested Now the difficult part comes, well, who will actually train them, right? In some debate societies, you have a history of good trainers, trainers that have been to a lot of international and national tournaments and who have a lot to say. In some debate communities, that's not the case, right? And now these trainers are usually responsible, but this also depends, but usually the curriculum comes from the trainers of this VP clubs, right? And they make the program less or more attractive. If you have really experienced debaters that have been to a lot of tournaments, they can easily be an incentive for other students to come, right? If they're going all around the world winning all these tournaments, right? They're a bait for all the other students at your university. But the question is, can we cooperate more on the issues of trainers, right? And where can we find fellow trainers? Now, I've been in the BP world, I'm not that involved in the BP world, but what I find very cute about it is that you can bring trainers if you follow a very simple logic to offer them friends and beer, and that should probably cover it up. Now, the case study we had in Macedonia is Manos Moskopoulos, right? I don't know if most of you know him, but technically we met at an event, and you know, we hit it off. Well, we were smoking together, drinking together, etc. And at that point, the Macedonian Debate Society was not successful at all. I mean, we didn't have a club to start with. So what Mano said was that technically, if either me or this kid, the other guy from Macedonia, offered him crash for, let's say, a month, and if we hang out, that he will come and help us out with creating a curriculum, making a TOT for our TOT training of trainers, right? Basically educating us how to form these clubs and what to lecture within these clubs. And what I'm trying to say is that a lot of the debate trainers that are really recognized and highly respected in the BP world will come in a minute in your countries either to do a TOT or to be a CA on your tournament or just to come and hang out and talk with you about your curriculum, etc. All you need to do is invite them, all right? And I know that basically you do need to cover their expenses, right? Their travel costs, but how usually it's done is that you start off by asking your neighboring countries. Now Macedonia is surrounded by 5 neighbors now. We have Bulgaria, Serbia, Kosovo, Albania, and Greece. Out of all these countries, Greece and Serbia have very good debate communities, a lot better than ours in terms of British parliamentary debate. So what we usually do is when we organize a tournament or we need someone who's more qualified than us to do something, is we invite our friends from Belgrade, from Serbia, from Open Communication, or we invite someone from Greece, usually Manos, to be a guest lecturer or to help us out with something. Now I know that, for example, if Estonia doesn't have, and I know they do have a great debate society, but for example, if they need help, I guess they would go to the Lithuanians, right? Or some of the, am I wrong? Whoops. Or the other way around. Let's say the other way around. Lithuanians are, they have problems. They need someone. They ask from the Estonians, etc. But what I'm trying to say is that usually we operate under the assumption that we need so much effort to bring someone in. Actually, the examples have shown that that's not true. It's very easy to bring highly qualified lecturers in your own country. You only need to offer them crash and beer, usually. So that's easily doable. And why I believe this is very important for every debate society, because no matter how good the lecturers are, how good the trainers are in one country, there is always room for improvement, right? They can always learn a lot more from other trainers. And in addition, students get bored by looking at all the same faces, and they would really appreciate if they see that you've bothered to bring someone new in the debate program to deliver a lecture or to help them out with something. That's also that's a new word. Very useful in terms of giving feedback to the students, right? They can judge a demo debate, and this is also for both the local and the national and the international trainers. They can give feedback towards your students in terms of what they can do to improve. It's not like the national trainers can do it. It's a lot. I think it's also important if they don't have the possibility or the chance to go to different international tournaments, if you can give them that occasion and by inviting these trainers. And also, usually, trainers from other countries can be very useful before tournaments. If, for example, you have beginners groups that they have never been to an international or regional BP tournament, it will be good if you have an international trainer to judge them several rounds and to give them feedback before they go to the tournament, so they don't be a complete disaster at the tournament itself. All right? Any questions or comments so far? All right. The beer. Now, universities, right? That's probably another pillar that's quite important in this entire story about forming BP clubs. And as I already stated, I know 3 case studies in terms of how this is being done. It's either run by an NGO, right? A complete separate NGO that, I don't know, functions in some offices in some city, right? And they recruit from the university, they give the lectures there, they have the pool of trainers, they have the rooms, etc. Sometimes it's completely done by the university and the student unions, right? The students gather, they form clubs within their universities, it functions there. Or it's a mixture, it's a combination between the NGOs go to the universities, they give lectures, etc. But no matter what the case is, I think there are several things that are in common for all these segments, for all these cases. The first one is, it's always good for a debate community to host a BP tournament. Whether it's an international, a regional, or either a national BP tournament, it's always good because it gives the debaters in your community, in your debate clubs, to see actually how it functions, right? Because not all of them got the chance to go to other tournaments. So now they can be the host and see how an entire tournament is being done. And it also brings a very positive energy in your debate community. I remember, unfortunately, we haven't hosted an international debate BP tournament so far, but I remember when we hosted the Idea Youth Forum back in 2005, it was a huge boost for our debate society in terms of high school debaters after we hosted that tournament, right? So one thing I think every BP club should consider, or every debate society, is hosting an international debate tournament. Another one is, in order to, and you already covered this, is to make a lot of debates on the university campus, whether as demo debates or as promotive debates, because it's always important for the university to know what the club is doing or what the results can be of that club, and that can be also helpful afterwards in terms of funding your club or in terms of further cooperation. Now that goes along the line to inform the university and cooperate with the university on these levels. Now events at the university are also related to demo debates and to BP tournaments. Both of them can be done on the university campus. It's the easiest, the most affordable probably, and usually you can get a whole bunch of students that are on the university campus while you're doing that.
Can I ask?
Yes, go ahead.
I mean, besides UK, which I know has a tradition in this, I wonder how the rest of the countries are convincing universities and renowned teachers or professors to endorse them and to promote them. Because we do get, I mean, in the Closer to Oxford online competition, we had a lot of academia participating in public debates, and they loved it, and they said it's useful, and they gave us testimonials. But that works for a while. But you need someone who is constantly, upholding what you're doing. How do you guys do that? How do you reach professors and?
If I started explaining our, Maria, go ahead.
No, in our case, it was easier because one of the assistants was a former debater, so she knew what she would get into it. Well, she knew what would happen. Eventually, I have no idea what to do with the rest. We did not have an inside person.
I'm not sure either, to be honest. I think that all these events that we can do on the university level can help, but I also agree that that's a very short-term solution. It doesn't provide you a solution in the long term how to make the debate program attractive for professors. But I think because all the professors have huge egos, right? I think what might be useful if we start to invite them a lot more often, either as judges of promotive debates, or even as guest speakers on certain events that we do as a debate society. And I think that that cooperation should be sustainable and throughout the entire period. Because it's also, for example, if we talk about the Macedonian Society, Debate Society, it's also us to blame, because we will invite them to a promo debate, and then we just neglect them for a couple of months. We don't inform them about anything. And I think that cooperation between debate clubs and professors or the academic staff should be permanent.
Maybe they can even take part in the lectures. For example, if you do, I don't know, motions in economics, then they can give you the background of the,
theme-related lectures, right? I'm not sure if that will work in every country. I know that our professors are pretty reluctant to give lectures for group. Go ahead.
Yeah, for us, it's got a lot to do with social networking and with giving them a good experience. First off, you're totally correct. They have huge egos. Invite them, especially into those specific areas where they know what they're talking about, and then later on, get them to tell about that to other professors, because they're probably, at least in the Estonian case, Estonian university students are, well, sorry, stupid, basically. Which means that they give lectures to 80 people. I will talk about the economy 2 hours. They aren't enjoying it either. Now they can come to a debate club where they have that same lecture, but with 20 highly motivated people. That professor will go away and say, yes, this was great. Why isn't my every class like this?
Yeah.
That professor will go and tell that to his colleague. And that's how you get them.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid point. Also, I just read an email from the Lithuanian Debate Society. They have some, political talk shows, right? Where they have politicians. I'm not sure if I get the information right, but I think so. And they succeeded in persuading the host, or they invited them. I'm not quite sure how the story goes. But the bottom line is that they had university debaters debating before the politicians on TV, and the politicians followed the same format as the debaters did. So they debated in somewhat a BP format. Now I think that that kind of publicity also helps you out in terms of your academic staff or the professors in your country. So I think visibility of the program inherently helps you out with that.
Sorry, did you want?
No, just
I just want to ask you that I was checking out because you were mentioning the TV shows.
Yeah.
And I think that I was doing some research, and there was some live streaming debate or something, but I'm not quite sure how we did with the media or intellectual property, because it's really quite easy to implement any show, but for example, then facing the issues about the legal infringement and whatever, because it's quite generic.
Right.
The people debate since I don't know.
I think
great as whoever, but for example, developed, I think it would be much more costly for the whole associations to tackle these legal issues, because I think this is the main barrier.
I think that
not money.
Yeah, I think TV shows for debate association is not a great idea, to be honest. Yes, it is very costly.
Well, I mean the risk of
yes,
being costly.
Yes, absolutely. I think that new technologies like Bully over there.
Bully is a new technology.
What we're focusing on, and this also has its ups and downs, and we stream almost every event that we for that, you need a camera and a laptop. And in terms of consent, you need just to inform, or at least that's what we do, we inform the speakers that this will be streamed online, and if they say, fine, sure, then...
But I think that we misunderstood both the question. I mean, I did not explicitly express. I meant that, for example, if there already is another show under a different legal regime, then in my country, I will be facing some kind of suit or for this infringement, as is to be perceived. For example, if you have this kind of TV show in Macedonia, whether I will see some kind of, Christmas greetings with some kind of litigation, something. You know what I mean? I mean the cross-border litigation, because I'm violating the. I do not precisely know. I do not precisely know, and I'm not sure about this. This is why I'm asking.
I'm not sure that copyright only being different formats and all
I
that.
think even if you have the various kinds of TV shows, and all of them they have to be licensed or something.
You're talking about the debate format. Does it has to be licensed or
No, I mean,
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I think his question is like, to give an analogy, if there's X Factor UK, can I do X Factor Finland?
Yes,
exactly. That's his question. And the answer to it is no, you can't do X Factor Finland, but you can easily just think of your own a bit. I mean, for example, X Factor has singing in it, and singing as an activity is not copyrighted.
That's right. In terms of debate, if we make the analogy with debate, you can just create a different debate format and offer it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't use the same name.
Yeah, just don't use the same name. Basically, that's. Yeah, and I'm not sure. This is a no. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure if anywhere in the world we have a specific show about British parliamentary debate. I don't think so. That would be cool. BP reality. 24 hours of BP format. All right. Now we go to what I think is a very important part. It's tournaments, right? Basically, lectures are very important, but usually debaters get bored easily with lectures and they just want to debate. And basically, we should prevent them from that. First, they should hear the lectures, and then they can go. And usually, the best learning experiences happen at tournaments, right? Whether they're international, regional, or national tournaments. Now, like, if everything goes well, you have the money, you go to the tournament, they're very happy, they might win the tournament, they go back home, they share the experience. So we won't talk about this, right? That's the best case scenario. If we can all do it, that's great. Now let's see what happens if we don't have the money, if we don't send anyone to international tournaments. What can we do to help that situation? Now, the first thing that came to our mind was project proposals, right? Now, usually different foundations, different donors have different priorities. In the past few years, I'm not quite sure if debate has been a priority to any foundation. But in all honesty, OSF had a huge open call on university debates. So, for example, we used that one to start this BP debate program in our country. And also, you can model it, right? You can sell it. You can sell the debate as a method, or you can make the proposal for the entire tournament to be on a specific theme. I know that worked for open communication when they did Belgrade Open in 2011, I believe. And I know a lot of different debate communities basically use the debate or the BP concept, but they just categorize it or put a theme on the tournament or on the lectures and then apply for the project proposals. I know the Academy IDAS in Slovenia follows that same logic, and that's how they got money out of different grant givers. Another thing is sponsors, like commercial sponsors. I know that some debate societies had huge success. We once got a commercial sponsor, and that was the Zoo of Skopje. That was funny. They didn't ask for anything, but they give us 5,000 euros. 5,000 euros? No. 100 euros. 500 euros. That's not
5,000? Seriously?
I don't know. I couldn't remember. But that's good and very unexpected, right? Usually, but that's the thing. In the Balkans, you got a relative who works somewhere, and he knows the director, and you ask him, and then it's tit for tat, favor for favor, and you might end up with a commercial sponsorship. Not sure how in your countries work, but basically that's something that's, I believe, worth trying. And it will be cool to have a team that's called University of Bucharest Coca-Cola, sponsored by Coca-Cola, powered by Pepsi. That would be fun. And I think something that's something that we can give it a shot. Another thing are scholarships. I'm sorry. Usually, and that's very cool, for example, for the World University Debate Championship that's happening in December, they had an open call for scholarships. And basically, even if you don't have money in your debate program to send students to different universities, sometimes the hosts themselves open up open calls for scholarships. So that's something you should also look up. The university, in some countries, the universities are very open in terms of giving debate clubs money to go to international tournaments. And basically, that's all I could come up with. Fundraisers, as I just said, even though I have never heard a successful fundraising story in the BP society, perhaps UK, I'm not sure. Some.
Yes, and they do some fundraising.
Yeah. We have.
Some societies do see
Right. And I think that's a legitimate option. I think that we had a huge discussion about this. I'm quite sure that our fellow students would pay some amount of money, like $2, €2, to hear public speaking night from all the students in the debate clubs. Come on, they will. If you make it interesting, I think they will. And if you get around like 500, 600 people, you might end up with some money that you can spend on the international tournament. I'm saying this is a very radical scenario and highly unlikely. But if you make a good event that can be related to the skills that your debate club have, and then you can charge entrance fees, I think that can be doable. Now, once you're on a tournament, we should grab that opportunity for several things. The first one is networking, and this sounds very boring and NGO-like. Like we can go and do networking, but that's ridiculous, and no one actually goes on a PP tournament to do networking. But what you do is you basically hang around with people, right? And you meet other people from other debate communities. And remember that part when we talked about trainers that you can invite, etc. That's how you meet them on debate tournaments, and basically that's how you invite Bianca to your country, etc. Now, also an important thing is the investment back to your debate community. What I think is very useful is that once you have some students in your club going to Euros or going to Worlds, once they're back, they should share their experience, but not only in terms of how was the socials there, etc., but also in terms of what they've learned. They can give topic analysis, etc. Right? Right? Yes. Right.
May I ask one thing?
Yes. Sir.
Well, I would like to concern, or maybe just to let me know something more about the sharing experiences from this tournament, because I'm quite curious about it. If somebody from other country could tell us how they share the knowledge from tournaments from the debaters, because I think in our country it's a little problem, because we don't have any effective process how to gather those experiences, and also how to distribute it to the others, and how to share it.
Well, here is my input, and then we can open up the floor on this. I think that once you go to an international tournament, such as the European Championship or some other regional tournaments, you gather experience in terms of you know more about the format. And I think in BP format, that's probably very true, that you learn by doing. It may cost you 1 year of sucking at all international tournaments, but you are getting better after you keep trying. So I think that you know more about the format, about different strategies that you can use in the format. So the way I would channelize that is through lectures and through sparring rounds with other students that haven't got the opportunity to go to an international tournament, right? And what we did, for example, last week or 2 weeks ago, I can't remember, we did a Pro-Am tournament. We had all the students that were on international tournaments paired up with a student who has never been on any international or national tournament in British parliamentary, and they formed teams together. So they could not only learn from them by lectures or by judging, etc., but they learned from them by doing. They actually debated together. And that's my input on this. Anyone else? Any debate society has a more interesting or better mechanism? Was that helpful? Was that any help?
Well, I'm just thinking about the situation, because I think that some debater, for example, from the university, who is debating, I don't know, more than the others, but if he or she came back from this tournament, I'm not really sure whether every single person is capable to run or conduct some lectures and to give really good lecture to the debaters. So I'm just thinking whether there is any method how to get some experience from these people who are not really capable to conduct the lectures. And I don't know whether it is on some writing assignment or something like this, or whether they should, I don't know, train someone through the internet. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think the options are on the table. They can either do trainings or any other form of know-how. They can either write something in terms of manuals or specific sessions on specific topics. For example, I write a lesson plan, an entire lecture about reputation or a second class or whatever. Or you just pair them up on practice tournaments with people that haven't done debate or haven't been to international tournaments. Or you just don't do anything with them, or you just talk with them afterwards, in person to share their experience. It depends on the character, I completely agree. There are people who are great at debate, but not that good in terms of giving lectures or presenting their know-how. Marco, I think you wanted to say something.
Yes, okay, so regarding this question, I think the networking part really comes into play here, because what you gather as experience during international tournaments, you can basically, if you're not an experienced trainer and you think you cannot transfer this knowledge by holding trainings or lectures, basically what the most you can do is organize debates with your debating community, so you can transfer the knowledge ad hoc. And the networking part, you can invite people from which you gain that knowledge that are experienced in holding trainings on these motions to hold those trainings for you.
Sandra?
What we did was, for 1 month I think, we went on a weekend, like all debate trainers, and it was about but it could be applicable also for Becca, is that one trainer who were more experienced gave us the lecture, like for example, and just we deal out with all the dilemmas we had for campaign. We can also do it for the
We didn't do a formal training,
Yeah.
that's what somebody is talking about. Well, we did an informal gathering. We just gathered at a friend's house. It was Katarina's house, this girl. She has a huge house.
Like summer house,
like a summer house. We all went there, we did some barbecue, and we literally, even though we didn't thought that we'd be successful, we managed to have 2 or 3 sessions for the weekend, like an hour and a half sessions, or even more. When we actually shared experience, it was like a round table with friends, which is, I think, a very successful method. Now, no. All right. The last part is materials and experience. I think that experience comes from tournaments and from educative seminars or whatever that we can find on BP. And in terms of materials, for example, I find the database on materials related to BP very useful. I don't know. For example, we have a member from the IDEA UK. If you visit the iDebate webpage, you can find a whole list of motions. You can find a debate calendar of all the international tournaments that are happening, and you can also find very a lot of resources on that webpage. Also, Alfred Snyder's blog is also very helpful in terms of BP debate, in terms of resources and calendar of activities, and a whole bunch of other blogs. So you only need to Google it up for about 1 hour, and you'll end up watching tons of videos and a lot of written materials on BP. And I believe that's it. That was all from me. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them now. And if not, I'd like to thank you for the very fruitful discussion we had for this session. All right?
Had 1.5 hours of your life with Lazar. Now it's going to be at least as the second good workshop of your lives. My name is Siim, as Lazar said before, and I'm from the Estonian Debating Society. And with me and Lazar, we're going to discuss curriculum development with you. And like Lazar said about coaching BP teams, I'm not either really an expert on curriculum development, but I've done my fair share of that. And want you guys to help me out here and help our group to share experience. And also, although we are sitting in a kind of academic setup here in this room, I hope we can still organize a fairly normal discussion. Okay, but what I wanted to ask you firstly is that you're here in this curriculum development workshop. Why are you here, besides the fact that you have to be here? Why are you here? What are your expectations? What are you trying to gain? You've thought about what the hell is curriculum development? What is it? What are you expecting from this workshop? If there's no volunteers, I'm just gonna start pointing fingers.
I do have a question. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
This was the first before me. No,
Pardon me?
The guys before in the first row have raised the hands.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
then I did so. I think that they have legitimate rights to be.
Yeah. Okay. You had a point, right?
In the order.
Yeah. Why are we here? What are you expecting from this workshop? Development workshop. Yeah.
I expect to find out how to better organize this training.
Training of debaters, right?
How to make it a bit more organized than just getting together.
I think we can cover that, right? Anyone else? Besides the fact that you're obliged to be in this workshop by the kind of a contract you signed yesterday. Mari, what do you think? You had some.
Yeah, but they were first.
Yeah, you had a point. Oh, fine, they're done.
I wanted to ask you that I would like to know in the meaning of the concept of curriculum.
Yeah, what is it, right?
No. I wanted to ask, or you asked us the expectation. So my expectation is that I will be delivered the lecture. For example, best practice of, let us say, examples of how do most efficient curricula that you are in touch or you know, how do they look like? So some kind of empirical insight in how good curricula, for example, for the world's top debaters or for good debaters, what are the trends or where this, whole segment is, what's the direction of it?
Yeah, sure. I think we can also cover that bit.
Concrete, objective, how does it look like? So I can make a better, less abstract picture on the topic.
Yeah, you're right pointing out that this workshop, it is on a really abstract issue. Curriculum development is a pretty wide issue for a few reasons. Firstly, we can talk about building a debate curriculum on its own, and also we can talk about how to implement debate course or debate subject to different curriculums, either in universities or in high school or lower school levels. And these are the issues we're going to deal with. And we're also going to work on how to build up, or you are going to work on building up debate curriculum for PP debating. But firstly, as I understand, you already worked in your national groups in the beginning of the first session, right? I would like you to, again, move around places and get together with your national groups. And I understand there's also an UK, Dutch, and African team, and you can join up again. And we have a few questions for you, concerning the current curricular development in your countries. What have you done? Do you have some debate curriculums you are trying to kind of sell or trying to implement in school systems, whether in high school or whether in universities? How have you reached this goal? What do the debate curriculums consist of? So in your national groups, discuss this for 5 minutes or so, and we can share our different perspectives and different views on curriculum development. Is this setup clear for you, or do you have any questions? Great. Then then you can take international course for once, and you can share our experience. You can share our experience.
Keď ti donesem samo idem do štvrtku.
Chceme hovoriť povedať, že máme vymyslené programy základných škôl, stredných škôl a vysokých škôl. Musíme vymyslené, že
Nová programy? Що там говорить про
tak zase tam akože momentálne to nepovinné predmety, ale mohli byť vzdelávané, akože ja to
Svoji gluposti napraviti, govorimo za koncept. Ja sam sigurno не ви задоволите. Ви нам представник очікуючи друга рай, друга позиція модерна, права враження у які працювати.
Pode ir formado na área da
Может, капать на вас, а дискутируем за развивание
Ти його знаєш. Ніс його правда, що ти не
So we're discussing all aspects of curriculum.
What have you found in your country right now?
So generally,
in general, just to get a picture where we stand.
Марія.
s čím my sa potýkame je to, že aby chceli s nami pracovať, aby si to nerobili sami. Že to začína spontánne vznikať, že my to nemusíme.
Okay guys, it seems that you finished discussing, so just to get an overview, where do we stand as we have totally different countries, totally different education systems, maybe totally different perspective on debate as well. I'd like you guys to share your experience with curriculum development, where do you stand, what are your goals maybe, or your organizational goals. So maybe we'll start from the back? Or do you feel ready to discuss?
Yeah.
Or give us an overview?
Okay, basically in Macedonia, so far we have developed two separate curriculums, one high school debating format and the other one is BP debating format for students. So far we have a 2-year curriculum for high school kids. Basically, basic, first year is the basics and the second year we're giving advanced lectures. The topics are the same as the previous year, but we're taking them a little bit more serious and much more deeper. And regarding the university curriculum, we have developed a curriculum for only 1 year so far, but we're hoping to extend that curriculum for at least 2 years in future. So if you want to hear the specific details, what does the curriculum consist, we can also.
Yeah, the one that's meant for high schools. Is it an elective or is it an obligatory?
No. Basically, we're doing the lectures once a week. We're doing a recruitment every year in September. Even though at the beginning we have like more than 300 kids, for example, enrolling in our debate clubs, eventually throughout the year the number decreases. But this is something that is happening regularly. But we're not that upset.
But the activity itself, it's kind of an extracurricular activity.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
In some, there's actually there is an optional subject called debate in high school, but we're not allowed to teach that subject within the high schools. Okay, we don't have the official
letter of confirmation
from the Minister of Education, but on a bilateral level with some of the high schools, we do take those kids and teach debate within our own facilities.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anyone else? Students?
Okay, first we'll talk about the high school situation and then university situation. The high school situation is that if 12 students want to study debating in the high school, then it's mandatory by the law, they have to give you that lecture. And you will learn it just like you learn mathematics or whatever. And the Estonian Debating Society will train you, your teachers, so they could be effective debating teachers. And the Estonian Debating Society has worked out the specific debating curriculum. Just like you have an English curriculum, must know how to say me, you, him, and her, you have a debating curriculum.
Just want to follow up on that. How many classes per week do you have? Like if you choose that?
Yeah, if you choose that, the curriculum they worked out is 35 classes.
That's one class a week.
One class a week for 1 year.
So you have a 1 year curriculum for 1 class per week.
Yeah.
If you want to. It's probably better to do 2 classes and half a year.
Okay.
But that's detailed.
And it doesn't differ from what age group are you. It's in high school, it doesn't really matter in what grade are you.
Yeah. And we have lots and lots and lots of informal high school debate societies that are extracurricular activities. Lots of them. In the university, we are just implementing a system where university students from the biggest university in Estonia, you go for them first, obviously, they can choose a free subject, which is debate, which is, I won't tell you by heart if it's a 1 year or it's a half year. It's 1 semester thing where they will, to elect for that, they will get credit points, etc., etc. The Estonian Debating Society is working with universities. Estonian Debating Society coaches will teach university students how to debate.
Great. We have Slovaks, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, in our country, we have actually 3 debate programs at the grammar schools, high schools, and also at universities. Especially the high school debate program is the biggest one. The university debate program is, let's say, a bit international because, for example, in Czech Republic they don't have a university debate program, so we are running the debate program also in Czech Republic. So actually, we have, let's say, international Czech Slovak debate program for universities. And well, about the curriculum, the biggest problem with implementing the debate into the educational curriculum is that you need accreditation from Ministry of Education.
and it means that it is really long-term process because it's some kind of cycle you need to go through. So it's around 6 years, and we are at the beginning. So well ahead 6 years maybe we will be implemented fully in the high schools. But now actually we don't have any really compulsory only one way how to study and how to do debate at high schools. Actually, there are several options which debate coaches do. For example, we have schools where they train by Skype. They have one session per week when they are debating through the Skype because their coach is studying in Prague in Czech Republic. For example, we have also optional subjects at high schools when the teachers has decided to create some kind of these subjects. And well, what's happening now, and we are really glad that it's happening, that the teachers are creating by themselves the program academic debate, or I don't know how to say this. Not really in the full cooperation with us because they just like this idea and they want to do this. So what we are working on is to cooperate more with these teachers who are doing it by themselves, just to catch them and how to train them to teach debate more successfully, and also to go at our tournaments with the kids. Well, I don't know what I'm supposed to say more.
I think you've given a pretty good overview of your situation.
Well, several. We don't have anything only one line because the high school program is running around, I don't know, 10 years or 12 years. So it has more ways how to do this. We have a general structure that we have debate club at high schools when the students or teacher are teaching debate, and these debaters from the debate club are attending the debate tournaments. But there is also options to study debate and not to go to the debate tournament because you are just learning how to find information, how to evaluate information, how to think critically. So it's not really we have a funny problem that we can't do the tournament with more than 250 people because actually we don't have any building for this, and also you need the classes for debate. So actually it is really a problem that we need to stop somehow because we can't expand more because we don't have really. Well, for example, we had 1 month ago we had the biggest tournament in our SBA history.
I think we can continue with this discussion a bit later, but coming to Romanians, what's your view and where do you stand when it comes to curriculum development?
Okay, so there are more sides than the official side, where we're talking about the school system, and for about a year or two, debate has been officially recognized as an elective class. So if there's a teacher who wants to teach it to his students, he can do that for about a year, 1 hour per week. There's a handbook approved by the Ministry of Education for that purpose. Although we're not very sure how many teachers actually implement this and if they actually use that handbook. Beyond that, there's the curriculum clubs, debate clubs use to teach their students, and those are pretty much based on an initial crash course that gets people debating and then debating on and on, but not in any formalized way.
Okay, thank you. And now we've got UK and Kenya joint curriculum development presentation.
In the UK, we ourselves do not do very much in terms of curriculum. The only thing we do is debate in the neighbourhood, which is not formal debating. The intention is to lead up to a public debate for each group, but it's mostly focused on disadvantaged youth. and the intention is really to get them engaged rather than to debate. So it's much more about kind of speaking exercises and such like.
And did I miss anyone else? More groups? Great. It's pretty good. It seems that we are standing on a pretty similar ground. The situation in different countries seems to be almost the same. And what we're going to do next is that I'm going to speak about how Estonia developed their debating curriculum in high schools, in formal education system, and what were the things we had to consider when we started with that, and what did we finally come up with. And then Lazar is going to tell you more about the extracurricular debating, the extracurricular debating curricular development. And, well, that was a complicated sentence. And then you guys then have a chance to work on a curriculum for PP debating, as in the last lab you had the idea how to run the debate club, how to coach a debate club, and what you need for that. Then I think it will be a nice implementation, a nice addition to your last workshop. But okay, as you remember, the students said that we have a pretty well developed debate curriculum for the formal education system in high schools, and there are many things you need to consider when you build the debate curriculum, and I'm gonna kind of go over these briefly, approximately 10 minutes. What should we do in Estonia, and why did we come up with this kind of solutions we did? Yeah, join us fully. Okay, firstly, when we started to develop Estonian debating curriculum, we had one goal. Our goal was that different curriculums, history or civics, for example, use debate as a method, and they've been doing that for a very long time. But we wanted to come up with a step a bit more further, that debate itself would be included in the national curriculum, not just debating as a method. So, what does and what we got, what the Slovaks are still trying to get, right, is that we got the national kind of approval from the Ministry of Education that now we can run this course. But we didn't manage to get the debate to be totally independent or autonomous elective, which every kid can choose, because basically what our debate curriculum is it's an elective for the Estonian language and literature teachers to choose to spice up of their literature Estonian curriculum. Basically, some bits of public speaking that the Estonian language curriculum consists of, and some bits of debating. So to join this into one course, and this is one of the biggest problems we have with this, is how to present this debate curriculum idea for either the policymakers or for the teachers, and where do we stand with that? And this was one of the biggest considerations we had to come up with, and so we chose to use the back door, not just to push our debate curriculum inside the big high school curriculum system, that we try to use it through some other already recognized subject, which kind of worked well for us. Secondly, how is the course built? What does it have to? What does the debate curriculum has to consist of? What do we want to teach there? And as we saw it as a part of the literature and Estonian language, kind of a bigger picture, we thought that it also has to have a bits of public speaking. So what we have done right now is that the course is basically divided into two portions. The first one is mainly public speaking, presentational skills, and then it's about about debating as we see it, even competitive debating or a format-based debating. And the format we chose to use was card-open format for basically for the reasons that we already had materials, we already had books, textbooks, and support of IDEA to do that. And that's where we stand right now. We built the debate curriculum based on the card-hopper format, at least the debate part of that curriculum. So we would have an easier way to present this. And thirdly, how do we get people to teach it? How do we promote this course so that other teachers outside of the organization would also be interested in doing this course? We chose the way that we are not, as Estonian Debating Society, we are not trying to run all these courses ourselves. Just that as it's a part of an Estonian language and literature courses, we are going to push our efforts towards those teachers there and trying to build up a base of teachers, Estonian language and literature teachers, who would be able to follow this curriculum and teach it, and therefore also be the ones who will carry the roles that the formal educational systems, state systems use, like grading and evaluation of learning. Do you have any questions? I think that I will stop with my lecture here and now about the extracurricular. All right. Ways of yeah.
Well, in terms of curriculum development, I think it's a very interesting subject that I'm not quite sure how we need to teach that or how we need to present it today. But this is my experience. I've been involved in creation of curriculum for our debate society, and also I've been a part of the creation of the curriculum of the IDEA Youth Forum. That's a 2-week summer camp for high school debaters and for coaches also. So I've been in both those tracks developing the curriculum. So these are some ideas that I think that we need to cover if we want to talk about creation of curriculum as an extracurricular activity, right? Because in school it's quite simple. You've got the Minister of Education. You've already agreed upon a certain methodology you'll use upon the curriculum, and then the teacher just implemented. Where debate societies taking place is to educate those teachers probably and to cooperate with them. Now the first thing that comes to our mind is the duration, right? Whether it will be a 1-month curriculum for a summer camp, or whether it's a 1-year curriculum for a BP program, it makes a world of difference, right? Because you need more resources, more references in your lecture, more teachers or more trainers, etc. So the first thing that we need to take into consideration is the duration of the program we're offering. For example, in Macedonia we teach BP for 1 year. Now I bet you if we go to Romania, Kalin, how many years do you literally teach BP?
We don't actually literally teach BP in Romania.
Precisely. How do you do it? Give us slightly more detail. You just do it, right?
Yeah.
Precisely. And a lot of the people in the BP community find it really funny when we explain that we will, or other debate societies, that we actually teach. Well, the thing is that within our curriculum, for example, we have practice debates, we have tournaments, we implement all the training exercises and all the practice of debate within the curriculum. Now, in the Romanian case, maybe due to lack of trainers, but I don't think that's the case.
I think that's the case for our part. I can't really speak for the whole of Romania, as we are divided into regional societies. So, yeah, but in our society, it's because of the lack of trainers.
Yes, precisely. So then you go to tournaments, you learn how it's done, and then you just continue changing partners, etc. Right? Now that's the in terms of the duration of the curriculum, it plays a huge role in how you want to create your curriculum. Another thing is the goal, right? What you actually want to achieve. Now we heard from the gentleman from the UK that they have the debate from the neighborhood project, right? And that's a project that the goal of that project is very different from what the goal of a debate program in any society would be. It's slightly different. If we take the youth forum, for example, the goal of the youth forum is slightly different from a competitive event in debate. So technically the curriculum should, firstly we should answer to these two questions. Well, how long would it be? And what is our main purpose in order to create that curriculum, right? Now, if we talk about BP, there are a couple of more things that I'd like to talk about in terms of the process of the creation of the curriculum. The first one would be, who develops it? Who should do it, right? Like, every debate society has a lot of trainers, debaters in it, so the question is, who sits down and writes the curriculum, right? Who do you consult, right? Who will teach that curriculum? Do you make a strategy? Do you make a plan? All right? Now I need your input on this, because I only have examples of several countries. Now, what would the logic be? Who is the best choice to create the curriculum in one debate society?
The most experienced member of that debate society.
Right, the members of that society. So that would be the trainers, right? Basically everyone, all the members in the clubs. Whether it's BP, it's Karl Popper, or it's schools. It doesn't matter, right? And another thing, we should always consider how we want the entire process to be led. Do we want a one-way communication? We gather a group of 5 people, they sit down for 2 days, they develop a curriculum, and then they present it to all the rest of them, and then they have to follow? Or do we want a two-way communication in terms of creation of the curriculum? Like, first we offer a draft, then they comment on the draft, right? And then we make the entire curriculum based on the inputs of everyone in the debate society. Right? So these are a couple of, these methods exist in most of the debate societies, and I can't tell you which one is better, but we can see all the alternatives, and then you can make your own conclusion. Go ahead.
No, it's just...
Alright. Now, for me, the two-way communication in terms of creation of the curriculum is always better. And this is not because it's I don't know, the way I see it is that if a very small group of people just creates a one-year curriculum on something, or a half a year or a semester curriculum, and if they don't have the necessary input from the people that will be listening to those lectures in the club, they will never achieve the goal of the listeners, right? For example, if I sign up for a BP club at my university, the assumption is I'm not quite sure what BP is, right? So I want to learn about BP. And I want to learn about debate, argumentation, refutation, etc. But I might also want to learn a bit more about public speaking. Or I want to learn something more about organizational events, or something else. Now, there are stuff that we can fit in the curriculum. And clearly, if you want to learn about singing, there are stuff that don't fit into that curriculum. But if we receive that information from the listeners, then we can easily, for example, we can easily implement public speaking or presentation, if we will, or manner in British parliamentary debate within that curriculum, right? So that's why I'm all in favor of the two-way communication process in terms of creating the curriculum. But yes, I agree that basically members of those clubs should be the creators of the curriculum. Now, who can we consult? Can we consult anyone? Who do you think is the best address to go to when you're creating a curriculum? Do you think we all follow the same curriculum in BP? No. No? I would put my money on the table that we are. All right. Show of hands. Are we all teaching argumentation? That's seriously? No one is. Yeah. Show of hands means you need to raise your hand. Yes. All right. Case development. Right? Refutation. POIs. Right? We have all the same elements in all the curriculums. The difference is whether the references we use, the methods of teaching, and the extent to which we teach these elements. And is it in a duration of 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, etc. Now the thing is, basically most of the curriculums are done on a copy-paste manner. Now this is both a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is we have universal elements of British parliamentary or of any format of debate that we can teach in every club, right? The bad thing is not always the same curriculum is applicable to each and every debate society, right? If I just copy-pasted the Romanian example to Macedonia, most likely it wouldn't work. I would either not have the appropriate trainers to do it, or it would just not fit the purpose for our clubs. Now the thing is, to get the core issues of the format you want to teach, introduce them to your curriculum, and then make the flexibility and the small changes you need to adapt for your debate club, for your debate community. Now in terms of who we should communicate once we're done, once we're done with our draft, or once we have the idea of the curriculum, in my point of view, it's always important to consult every single partner organization that you know. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to send a viral email and you need to gather votes based on whether the curriculum should pass or not. But I always think you should consider input from all of the rest of the trainers, people that you know, debaters from other countries, in terms of, can we add up something to the curriculum, or is it something wrong with the curriculum? Also, and this is very importantly, the alumni network. Right? Now, when I say the alumni network, it sounds like a cheapening alumni network or some scholarship alumni network. But in all honesty, we have a whole bunch of people that were a part of our debate programs and are not there because they find jobs, they just don't do debate anymore, etc. Right? Now, their input is also valuable. Right? In terms of, because they've already been involved in this program, they know the ups and downs of the program, and they can help you out with when you are creating the curriculum for your debate program. Now, finally, who should teach? Marco, you had a...
No.
All right.
Just my manner of speaking.
Okay. And finally, who should, let's say that we have developed the curriculum. For me, a good curriculum means that the debate club has the capacity to fulfill that curriculum, right? Because we can all create a magnificent curriculum which is filled with ideas, new concepts, strategies, etc. But we just don't have the coaches, the trainers, or the debaters to do that. So I think that basically not a research, but I think a realistic approach towards what are the strengths of your society, what are the real possibilities that you can offer, basically should reflect within the curriculum. Right? And also, in terms of teaching, and we already mentioned this in the previous session, there are some elements in debate, or there are some areas basically where our trainers or your trainers are better, simply better. They have more experience, they know it better than ours, or vice versa. Now, the debate world functions quite well in terms of exchanging of trainers and exchange of debaters, right? And we should put that into force within our curriculums, if we plan it out front, right? Because usually we create the curriculums before the entire thing starts. Now, if we plan it appropriately, then we can allocate certain trainers or certain debaters to come to our lectures, usually from our neighboring countries, etc. Now, having all that in mind, we should sit down and start creating a curriculum. Now, that's how I see a good process of creation of curriculum, right? And there's one thing I didn't even mention, and that's the context, right? And that's the most important part. Now, we can talk about the process of the curriculum, we can talk about how important it is to involve different stakeholders within the process, different actors, etc. But if we don't know what to put in the curriculum, it doesn't matter technically. You can have the best process, but if you don't know what exactly you're offering, then it wouldn't matter. Now, when we're talking about BP, about British parliamentary, and I think this is also applicable for every other format in the world, when we're talking about what should the curriculum be composed of, when we're talking about the sessions, right? We thought that we can divide them into, let's say, 4 groups. The first one, the core issues, or the core lectures. Now, these are the most important elements that you'll have to teach your kids, your students, the students, before they go to a tournament, right? If we want them to be able to debate in a competitive fashion on tournaments, what are the core issues, the core lectures that we need to prepare for them, right? The second one is the more advanced lectures. Are there any other techniques? Are there any other methods? Is there anything a bit more advanced than the basis that we want to include within the curriculum and that we want to focus on? And the third part is, do we have something relatable to debate, but not relatable to the elements of debate? Like, are there some other debate tournaments? Or, for that matter, any debate-related event that we want to implement in the curriculum. Now, you can see that when I say curriculum, I don't just mean the combination of lectures, but I also mean a calendar of debate tournaments that we plan to attend, a calendar of events, seminars, workshops that we also plan to attend, and how we'll fit our lectures within that entire global scale, global picture of the debating world. For example, if I know that Belgrade Open is in February, now I'm not sure of the dates of Belgrade Open, but anyways, and I'm starting my debate club at my university in September, and that's the first tournament I want my students or us as a debate community to attend. Will I make it in time to go through all the elements necessary, through all the core issues, to be prepared for this tournament? For that matter, if the World University Debate Championship is happening in December this year, if I've started at September in our clubs, will our students be well prepared to go to the World Schools, to the World University Debate Championship in December, etc., etc., or this conference? Now, for me, a curriculum should be a composition of all these elements. They should all be incorporated into the curriculum, or it doesn't have to be a piece of paper where you have them incorporated, but the debate program should take into consideration all these elements when they're producing the curriculum, right? Now, I know that you're all very experienced, and when Siim and I talked about, we have a list of what we perceive to be the core issues, what we perceive to be the advanced lectures, and what we perceive, not perceive, but what we know the debate tournaments that exist throughout the world, etc. Now, we'd like to divide you in 3 groups now. But now we won't go into the national sessions because we need to break those groups at some point. And one group will be working on core lectures that a BP club must have, right? It doesn't matter if it's a 6-week training or a 6-month training, right? Core issues, core lectures that we must have. The second group should be advanced lectures, techniques that are related to the BP format that we need to teach. And the third one is other events. Is it public debates? Is it public forums? Is it promo debates or whatever that we can incorporate within the curriculum and that are suited for a good BP club? All right, will that work?
So basically you want a list?
I want a list. If we want, yes, listed lectures. Yeah.
No, I think a list of events.
No, in terms of, like the type of event.
Oh, I see.
Right, for example, yeah.
Type of event, and also how does it fit into a club? How does it fit into a curriculum? How could it fit into a curriculum?
All right, so this is how we'll do. I'm not sure how we'll do it. In gym class we have this exercise 1, 2, 3, and then you have the numbers. That always works, right? Kate, 1, Maria, 2, Sandra, 3, Stefan, 1. Marco, are you playing? Of course. Yes, 2, 3, 1, sir, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, lady, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're 1. So all the 1s are working on the core issues, all the 2s are working on the advanced issues, and all the 3s are working on the last one. Yes?
And also, if you want to flip charts, we're going to have a little presentation later what you've worked out. So if you want to flip charts or pens, then just ask us. Yes.
And yes.
And the time frame is about like 20 minutes or so, 20, 25 minutes or so.
Chop, chop, yes. Chop, chop,
Damy ci zdrowotnie, damy ci kawę. Dobra, gdzie siedzieć?
Are there any more number 3s?
No. Take a sip. I'm watching it.
Anyone want a flip chart? Not really.
That's definitely not our side of the
Introduction to format is always the first lecture.
Yeah, we're talking about advanced lectures.
Just advanced lectures?
Yeah, not with
Because
this.
we need to do a BP.
Oh, you mean like,
yeah.
We have
See,
what number are you going to put?
Yeah.
So we have to go with that one thing. Or,
Yeah, you have to discuss about the advanced lectures.
Okay.
Where do we draw the line?
Basic lectures.
That's up to you guys. We're talking people who have 1 month of experience, 1 year of experience.
You should consider that if you get a debate club and you're starting with new students, for example, you can think that what should be the core issues, then you have to kind of frame the core issues as well, at least a bit, if you want to move on to the advanced things. Yeah.
Then, can I just give a suggestion? We have done something similar, so maybe I can offer what we can do so far. We can discuss if we want to add or remove something. For example, for core issues, we have with format, motion, type of motions, which is just basically doing the text motion, argumentation, all the basics, refutation, and speech control. These are just the core lectures. And then, talking about the advanced, we had motion analysis. So we have some further with the motions. Or you should, you know, if you have, for example, different type of motions, okay, different types of motions, and then going further, for example, giving a frame of the debate, understanding the motion, putting the context. So, for example, we talked about the first lecture about open, semi-open motions. Now we're thinking, you know, like the context of the motion stuff.
We'll discuss
Core issues, you know, for example, the technical issues, security or something else. This is what is happening before you even start doing. Yeah, this is before you even start preparing your argumentation, just understanding the idea of the motion itself and in which manner should the argumentation develop further. Framing the debate as mentioned, burden of proof, and and then we go into specific roles, for example, for the government organization. What to do something that is like yeah. This is more related to
Are these things you do with people who are where in their training life cycle? So are they preparing for their first competition, or is this after their first competition, or is this after a bunch of
This is a year when you're we haven't adapt regarding to the events.
The advanced stuff. Is it something you do after first year?
No.
Or is it tackled in the second month?
For example, you're doing the core lectures within a month or two, and it just depends on the group. And afterwards, you're repeating some of the stuff you mentioned, but you're going to
maybe follow the format. I'm sure they won't do it. You can speak. I'm sure the one thing that's my issue there. So they'll go.
Yeah, that's why
they might do core issues plan for a year.
That's like the first lecture. But you don't want to bomb them with information and they will be like, what the heck? The elements which should be like an easy and make a list of like step.
I think you can name the advanced lectures who knows format, what allows people and how do you do it. Then you don't want to try to debate.
Yeah, that's
And you give up a
know the basics, have probably played it, but need to go deeper.
Yes.
Need to get better at that.
When you're creating a curriculum, like you need to work on specific issues, like how economic motions, social motions, like I don't know how
short or how long.
We'll leave 10 minutes for presentation, I think it's enough.
If I have 1 year, there's 2 months going deeper.
Even a lecture about
developing more strategy, being better at the actual debate. Looking at the issues you debate, doing research at that side of the discussion. So maybe we can go on both routes.
I think that ideally a big club would go, would have trainings on both issues. Like,
yes, not I'm saying this should probably divide them and address both.
Okay, maybe we can put all of these ideas on a paper and then just choose which one we feel like
definitely motion analysis stays on, but do we also include in motion analysis different types of motions, as in, like Marco said, social motions, economics motions, military motions, or is this rather a different content training?
I know it's content issue more than.
If you do it like that, then you're gonna need like more than
fundamental idea.
Everyone can understand what is up.
You need time to learn. Basically, if we're talking strictly strategically, then you don't need to look at the technical content side of the issue. I think.
I would leave this, for example, discussing on different topics and in general economy and all stuff like that for the end. You know, after you finish all the technical lectures, then we can discuss. We can try to implement what we've learned so far in a context, and then discussing, for example, economy in the back.
I'm not sure this kind of works. I think you need to mix them up. I'm not sure it's realistic to have people go through 10 lectures on strategy and then another 10 lectures on economics, social issues.
No, I think it's better to divide them. Like, you can't really teach economics and, I don't know, PYs in the same training. So,
I don't like crossing stuff out.
You teach them PY?
So they're like in the industry.
POI is boring.
Where's the money? Where's the money? I think that we need to have a more practical approach when we're discussing advanced motions, because I believe that no matter what we choose for the discussions or for the lectures to be on, we always need to implement a lot of practical debating or practical exercises in the advanced part of the debate lectures, because at this time they already have all the issues in the argument. They really need to get into more practical work. So we need to have like implementing all lectures should be, let's say, at maximum 1 hour theory and then 1 hour practical exercise, which would optimally be a debate in which they can exercise what they used in accordance to the previous knowledge they had. College?
I
don't have a mellow.
If you were to think of 1 month, it's probably
Okay, so we want to discuss about some specific lectures, or are we still discussing content? I think optimally, by my point of view, is the best case scenario is if you can do like a year-round elective years.
Let's be more specific.
I don't think that's realistic.
That is very, very, very hard to do. Like you need to have like at least 15 electives in order to make this happen.
I think a more realistic approach would be like the advanced lectures being the second semester of a year round.
Yeah.
Okay, besides motion analysis, what else?
Content those your own towards the end. I don't know, fine-tuning types of things, like how to win from first pop. Because that's definitely something debaters will have issues with suicide debate, or what a first part needs to do in order to like those types of answers. I don't know, how to do an efficient yeah.
Maybe we can have, for example, one lecture for each position, what is expected of you, what kind of strategies can you develop, what should we have a specific lecture in
Definitely.
But should we do it like table or position?
No. Table by table. Oh no, by table we mean like prop bench. Oh no, no, and I think it's.
But there's just a really important part of it.
But you can discuss it from both position and
there's really no point in making separate stages for hustling from second top and hustling from second top.
Yeah,
So,
no.
But I do feel like there's a huge difference in approach when it's first top. Like roles are there should be 3 sections, so one first top and second, or one on first top and one on second top. No, I think first prop especially for beginners.
First prop gets to define the motion, first stop gets to set the first question. The problem with the second table is not continuing working with the circle.
You know your lesson now.
Even though
you know your lesson.
I don't know.
You've learned your lesson.
Yeah, of course I do. Yes. In one debate, it is a major
It's a lot easier for beginners to play second op, for example, than first pop. I think first pop is the most difficult.
So we easily touch everyone.
This is something that we need to agree on.
Yeah, I'm also looking at we're
not going anywhere with this.
Yeah, we're flashing. So let's say one lecture for each position. It appears to be important.
And second table goes together.
I've read about the initiative.
I think
so basically the
one lecture for each position.
I think this is a place you can experiment. You can do something like back half, first half, or opposition strategies, jogging strategies, things like that. I think you can have a bit of flexibility with that, as long as you have a group of lectures. That I think the most important part is that they're followed by debate, and people are actually focusing on that, and at the end giving feedback on how those guys could have done their job better, and focusing on those 3 jobs. So I think
let's assume that at the end of the first semester, by good practice, you've organized a tournament and you've seen your debate. After that, you can probably come to a conclusion on which method is the best. Should you focus more on first?
I think you can actually use pre-recorded debates and try to do something like, how could the back half of this game look better? How would you have improved it?
Yeah, I agree. When I say get on moving.
Outside it's cool, but by practice, watching recorded debates is generally not very.
Yeah, I know it's boring, but
yeah, you really gotta be motivated to want to watch debate in order to.
I know. I think it helps you separate yourself from.
As a teacher, if you like make commentaries on the debate,
are not related with their everyday life, you don't get to. If you give them
I think you should have a bunch of people in the room all
about sex,
looking at, for example, how could the back half of the game look better? That's something that can't really happen if some people actually played in the back half, and they might not be comfortable with that. So
I don't think we need to agree on the content of the lecture.
That's very smart. I must agree.
I think there was.
Yeah, I've heard about it. So we have so far emotional analysis and lecture quality.
There was some statistics about how many of us How about defining core issues? Do you think it's relevant? Do you think it's just looking at you and do a full lecture on core issues?
What core issues?
Well, depending on the motion, are there any specific, for example, 2 values that are clashing? Or 2 potential policies?
I think this goes into the content. Like, For example, in most economic debates about this clash, in most
It might be more of a strategic approach. I think you can have debates on very different topics in the economic. Maybe about individual rights versus public involvement, things like that. So it might be more of a strategic thing than
okay.
specifically topic. So it might help to try to
have a separate
categorize types of debates, types of clashes.
How is this different from the training on motion analysis? It is normal. So this is a motion analysis training.
They're radical in the beginning and they're changing their mind because there's no understanding. And it's a really we don't actually but we call them specific cases groups that come from like disadvantaged group.
When you talk about motion analysis, I would also like learning, understanding learning, because it depends on the motion and like the position. Yeah, and I think it's relevant to the motion.
But you said you were going to spread motion analysis.
No one is
Yeah, but that's regarding if we put together the going to points such as economy versus theology versus
I think we don't need to
law versus human rights law.
But you don't know that the actual content.
Everything
Teach the debaters how to identify the core clashes. We actually discuss the core clashes in this training.
There are general practices that can be applied to, let's say, economic.
Yeah, but that's for the content training, not for emotional.
What I was saying was actually emotional analysis, but I was saying
I think we should have one lecture for bigger debates, i.e. debates where you have a lot of people in the audience, because I think those are very different from standard debates. Like, the audience is quite an important factor. For example, if you get to outcome, you have a lot of people spectating.
For example,
things that you can do differently. You definitely don't adapt the same manner of presentation when you're speaking.
and she was an experienced debater. That would precise someone there was just trying to
You're addressing each other.
No, maybe I think that's such a manner when we cover both during a debate, public debate, and
so angry at him. They didn't understand what's going on. They didn't understand that they're winning because of that guy. Then they threw that stop it, I'm saying on the wrong thing. And I'm that dedicated. I'm like, no, he's I can't say enough, but I'm like,
you're teaching them in emotion analysis side.
No, but imagine you have a student. For example, you have students that have never, they do not know anything about debate. It's the first time they hear something like this called presentation. So the first lecture must be, like too extensive, too complicated. You only need to cover the basics so that they get the idea. But that's not enough for you to make a good debater out. Probably after a while, it is good if you come back to the presentation and extend it a little bit more.
I think this way the Ruul debaters every lesson in debate and discuss about topics of emotion about those clashes between that's
You have to be careful because there are some people that are about to hard on them.
To nie są? Matcha. Matcha.
Then they will go back, you know, you're acting as a at the end you will realize that even in the region, these are the
So as I understand, already has enough time to come up with some solutions for these BP curriculums, or at least the aspects of the whole curriculum. And what we would like to hear from you is a small presentation. What did you find to be important? What would you add to this curriculum? Why would you do that? And what general discussions or disagreements that you have in your group? So starting from the core issue, or the core issues group, first group.
Okay, so we made a curriculum that has 4 lectures.
How many?
4. Wow. Short. So the first one is Introduction to BP, which includes also speaker roles, the format, all the rules, etc.
Wait. What does it include?
Speaker roles.
Okay.
Format, rules of the format, team roles.
What about speakers?
Yeah, it's the first one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So the second one is motion types. Types of motion.
Types of motion.
Yeah.
All right.
So here we put understanding the motion definition and what kind of motion it could be, so value, policy. The third one is argumentation. We decided that if you want to learn the basics easy and quickly, you need to spend 1 lecture only on argumentation. And the fourth...
But do you... Does the argumentation differs from the position you are in BP?
How you mean like strategies? Like,
I mean,
you mean extension as a
right,
as a core?
Yeah. I mean, if you're a first prop, you need a model and you need arguments, right? If you're a second prop, then you need an extension.
The idea is to cover that in the first.
That's my question. If you cover it here, why do you need this?
We are doing just with argumentation. So someone must understand how to argue on a motion.
All right, but these are not chronologically, right? These are just.
Well,
are
we're
they
discussing where the best thing is to understand what is an argument and then understand what types of motions you have and how you adjust your argumentation.
No, but this is something we like. I have a problem in real life when we actually choose this, because this is what we chose. Choose. All right. As a debate society to follow. How do you teach the format and the team roles before you've taught them argumentation? How do you explain what first prop should do?
You do it in 5 minutes, and then you start the argumentation.
Yeah, right. That's right. You draw the format, right, and then you say.
Yeah, you put this.
That's all right. Okay. Yeah.
It would be a demo debate in the starting because everyone believes that they know what an argument is and that they can speak.
Okay.
So if they're here,
all right, sorry.
you can introduce them and try.
The fourth?
It's refutation.
That's it?
Yeah.
Did you have some major discussions or conflicts within the group? Yes.
The biggest discussion was the chronology.
Yeah. Do you all agree that this is a good order to teach new debaters? What was your name again? One more time? Rasmus. Got it. Yeah, what you said basically is that you need a very short introduction of the format, and then you can continue on argumentation.
I agree. I mean, I wouldn't go that much into speaker role or team roles, talking about extensions in the very first lecture. I would leave it for later or eventually for the advanced lectures. I mean, I would mention that there are certain rules, what is expected in general, but without any specifics, because
just explain the format. 4 teams, right? 8 speakers. You say everyone speaks for 7 minutes.
Tell a story about the POI.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that, sometimes it's easier to explain some things like argumentations and presentation after they have tried to teach them the 5 minutes format. Then you let them while then tell them about what they did wrong.
Learning by doing.
Yeah. Or you just come up with different aspects or roles in the argumentation and reputation policy.
Good. All right. Thank you. Now, the advanced group here. Is there anything from here that you had in your original plan to cover in the advanced lectures?
Refutation.
Refutation?
We had advanced. So it's like different strategies of refuting an argument, i.e., for example, minimizing defects or identifying unspoken assumptions that their argument is based on and refuting those, or like different strategies that are more advanced.
Right.
On the next level.
Second one is advanced argumentation. Different types of arguments. What else do you have?
Maybe a bit of overlap might happen between types of motions, as we do have lectures on motion analysis, but our lectures were more focused on breaking down motions, identifying key clashes behind the motions, identifying the burden of proof of each team, more than definitions or is it a valid debate or is it a policy debate. So they might not overlap that much, but we do talk about motions a lot. And team roles might also overlap. We have separate lectures for each team, for each position in a debate, but all lectures are more about how to win from that position rather than what's expected of that position, like rule-wise.
How to win it, right?
Yeah.
What else do you have?
Plus we should debate quite a lot. Like, if not every time, then every next time.
Yeah, I think basically you're trying to go to the same goals, but in the first side, you're looking at teaching people about these things, and on the advanced course, you're basically making them think about how they can do the same things better. So there should be overlap.
Yeah, precisely. That was my. Do you have something that's specific only and that is not here
Yes.
for your group?
Yes. Content trainings, like.
Content trainings. You need to explain what this means.
Yes. So different trainings on different issues that are often debated. For example, economics trainings, or women's rights trainings, or Middle East trainings, where you present the key issues, examples of motions that are in that area, how to address those. No, it's not in motion analysis.
Okay.
Because it's more about the actual issues rather than the different burdens of proof in different debates. So it's like
it's very practical knowledge, if I get it right.
Yeah.
Good. It is related to motion analysis, but not. It is related to motions, but not to the analysis.
Yeah, in our version of motion analysis, that's more about the philosophies of the motions or the values behind them, and this is about actual content.
Right. I know. I overheard you speaking like individual liberties versus. Right?
That was
good, good. Anything else?
Nothing that we had the intent to discuss.
I guess POIs go under the format, right? So you include all those.
Oh yeah, manner,
right?
Something new.
No, that's not anything new.
Manner. Presentation, right? Good. Why would that be an advanced lecture?
Because we're discussing specific areas during the debate, like body language, how to speak in front of the public.
But if
I think it could
larger
be,
community,
I think it could be a core issue, and then it's the same thing. It's how to do the basic stuff, and then how can you do it better.
Precisely, I agree. I think it needs to be in the core issues as well, because in VP, I mean,
I disagree.
Presentation brings you, like, in order to win a debate, you have to be quite good at the presentation of your arguments. So it plays a huge role whether you win it or lose a debate.
First you need to first you need to build a debate. First you need to focus on how to develop arguments, how to do motions, how to develop definitions,
I agree.
how to approach the motions, and then after you have developed that,
I agree. But when we were explaining about the basic curriculum, we said all the lectures that we would give before we send them to a tournament. And I think that technically, if you send someone to a tournament without explaining them the meaning of presentation in VP and basically some advices on how they should present certain arguments or how they should behave throughout the format, that may be included in the format itself in that lecture. Yes, I agree that it can go both ways in both types of lectures.
For the advanced lectures, is it important to have some kind of an order for these lectures, or it doesn't really matter anymore because we have?
I don't think it does. I think the order varies depending on what specific issues the debaters in the society encounter. So you might have more debaters that have manual issues than strategy issues, or it might be the other way around. So it's flexible depending on what specific issues debaters have within the society.
Absolutely. And this is, according to me, the biggest truth that we can say in terms of advanced lectures, that they vary depending on the members of your club. For example, me personally, I seriously need a lecture on content trainings, right? I can't easily recognize motions and the core issues, for example. So that would be a great training for me. But I don't think I need, for example, I don't know. Actually, I need all of them, but let's say some of them. Let's say manner that can be improved. But basically, I completely agree and I'd like to point that out.
Plus, again, come back to the question, like you have your manners and content and manners again.
Yeah.
Some debate how it went and what weak points.
And also practice debates must be, at least every couple of weeks you have to have practice debates.
Depends on the members also.
Yeah.
Have to concentrate on the members.
Yeah. Good. Is there anyone who wants to add something up for this specific thing? All right. One thing that we didn't include in the curriculum is judging, but that's a completely different topic, right? And I think Stephen Nolan will be talking to you about judging in BP. But some debate curriculums include judging. For example, at the end of the entire process, they include judging, but not in a way how to judge, but in a way how what is expected. Sorry?
How you are being judged.
How you are being judged. And I think that is important because you do need to know what is evaluated in the debate so you can hit those exact points. All right, and the last group is corner here, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So we came up with three categories of different events that are related to debate. So the first one is about the social impact. The second one is about motivation.
This is like a BP case. Social impact.
And then the third
social
one
contract. What was the second one?
about like motivating people.
All right.
And then the third one is about competition. So with the social impact, we thought that that we could do, for example, public speaking or like public debates about topical issues within the country or within the world. Like for example, if they've already discussed on topic or how to like debate economical issues, then they can do a show debate on an economical problem.
So they should be current issues, right?
Yes.
All right. To make the debate relevant and influential. Good.
And also we thought that lots of people are not really willing to debate publicly, so they can still make use of the strategies and the things that they've learned out of writing about them. So for example, they could have a blog where they could write how, like, their own perspective on how to prepare for different debates. And like for example, analyze different fallacies that politicians use in the media.
So to transfer the debate content in. All right.
So also they could have a special column in their newspaper, for example, where periodically they would discuss different events or like different topics. Or they would have a debate about that, like an economist, you have like a pro and a con. And that's, or maybe like in an actual newspaper.
When students the limitation.
So also essay competitions that are held within the school or in the country or in the world. And online debates.
This is this is a project proposal right here. Online debates. All right. Where's the social impact?
Yeah, I was
online
about to
debates.
ask the same thing. How do you make online debates have a social impact?
Do them with
Amsterdam.
Yeah.
You can share that through social networks.
I know Mano can be presented on this.
We're still like looking for the social impact. It's an inaccessible medium. So yeah, so if anyone has any bad ideas, we're all ears.
I mean, how big of this link of Facebook is like was online debates.
About motivation, we thought maybe there could be periodical, like movie nights, for example, where the people could see like educational films or just regular entertainment films, and they could discuss.
Or all the 3 debate movies we have. The Great Debaters, Rocket Science, and Think the First Movie, right?
Why not
12 Angry Men is a great movie.
What about this?
All right. There are more.
And then we also thought about having informal speaking competitions where people do not have to follow the rules of BP, but they can just talk about topics.
The speaker's corner, right?
Yes. And then for competitions, we thought that they could they can take part in different tournaments, and then before the tournaments, they can have like preliminary rounds and like debating camps, where like social issues are reviewed and like the possible debating topics they have to know, and then they could ask other teams from different schools to come together, and then they can compete with them and ask judges from outside.
Good. All right. Yes, congratulations.
We have a curriculum.
Well, more or less. Now we need, like, if we were really making a curriculum, then we had to make a plan of the duration of this lecture. How long would the entire program be? Would it be 6 months, 1 year, etc., semester, or a year? And then we would have needed to make the core issues, the basic issues that we want to cover at the beginning of that curriculum. And then we would need to implement and interject all these events that we plan within that curriculum. Then we needed to put the advanced lectures and the tournaments as well. And then we would have had a nice curriculum. And
as well.
Right. And if we follow the suggestion we made at the beginning, then we would have needed to send that curriculum to all our friends in the debate community, or to most of our friends, to comment on it, to give a few more ideas in it, and to the students in our club, in order to see whether they like it or not, whether they want to amend something or not. And then we could have had a product and started with our club. That's it. Thank you for your attention, and I believe we are done.
Before everyone goes, a quick request. So, as you know, tomorrow we have the tournament, and we are unfortunately in the position of having 43 teams, which means that we need one more team. So, is there anyone in this room that would rather debate tomorrow rather than judge? Marco and Carl. Lal. Okay. Marco and Carl Lal. Congratulations to your team. Thank you. All right.
See ya.
We're supporting you.
Yeah.